So, thank you everyone for joining on a weekend evening to talk about uh, ePortfolio or build your own ePortfolio. Something introduced as like we need, you might be looking for an ePortfolio or a platform because you are going to look for career opportunities. But what I'm going to tell you is something like an ePortfolio is more than just a platform for career opportunity, looking for career opportunities, but a platform that you can use even for career development, even for education when you are learning, and so on. Right. So you might know there are uh, platforms that you can be part of, or a social network where you can be part of to kind of get connected and also to career develop. So ePortfolio is a little different. I'm talking about platforms like LinkedIn, right? So ePortfolio is a little different. And yes, it can be used for career development or connecting with people and also maintaining a profile, but it's a bit more than what regular career development platform offers. So let's see how any portfolio system works and what is its objectives and where it's happening. So how we are going to do today's session, like I mentioned here, is first I'll spend some time sharing with you the objective of an e-portfolio system, right? So where it is used, where we can use it. Some of them it looks like you already know, and that is why you have asked for a session. But at the same time, I'll also share some ideas that you might not have thought of about an e-portfolio system. So that's the first part. I spend less time with that. And then I'll go into a hands-on session where I will walk you through a specific e-portfolio platform known as the CN platform, Course Network. CN stands for Course Network. It's just one it's a popular e-portfolio platform, right? So that I'll show you how you can set up and what sort of things you can do and how you can make use of it to build your career and also learn better and aspects of that nature. Okay, so that's what we are going to do today. So let me just start with the general question, what it is. What is an e-portfolio? Right, so e-portfolio is just to tell you some background about portfolio and e-portfolio. The idea, the term portfolio, as you might realize, is about somebody's like uh, artifacts, right? Say let's say you have a trade. I mean, you do some work, right? In fact, the history goes as when people started portfolio is they when some tradesman like or a trade person like a plumber or someone who build houses or mason or anybody else, they when they want to do some get some job, they can't just go and say, okay, so I'm good at it, give me this job. So what they can do instead is, in addition to just saying, okay, I'm good at it. Let's take an example, right? So a specific example, like you want to build a kitchen for a house, right? So if you want to build a kitchen, like a proper kitchen, like a state-of-the-art kitchen for a house, you will look for somebody, right? So to build this. So people who are building kitchens or setting up, they'll say, okay, I'm good at this, will do this. But at the same time, they'll also share what they have done in the past, right? How would they share? They might share some photos, they might share some references of people who have used that person's service and so on. So that is the place where the sort of idea of portfolio originally started, but then it went into education. So different educators use it for different purposes, and it grew, right? And that's the idea of portfolio. And particularly in health care sector, e-portfolio is you or portfolio. forget about E part of it, right? So the portfolio is used not just for showcasing your artifacts as a career person, but also to learn, also to build your learning experience and so on. And it has gone more. So an e-portfolio is an electronic version of it, particularly in situations like what we are discussing now. It is an online system, so we can maintain our what you are discussing, mentioning earlier, in an online platform. That's the idea of an e-portfolio. So it's electronic, right? So instead of traditional papers. So earlier it used to be a big file where you keep all this the resources, I mean all these artifacts, things like evidences of what you have done, references of people who support you, and contact details of people who you can refer from, and so on. So it's like a file, right? So, and you take it around, give it to people and ask them, okay, this is my portfolio, look at it and can you like assess and give me the job, right? So that's where it started. But then it went into electronic. Now that it can be shared and electronic has its own advantages, so it has become better, right? So now in the electronic version, ePortfolio is a comprehensive digital collection. So that showcases your professional learning journey over time, right? So that's what. So it's we are calling it a learning journey. So it's just not that you only show what you have achieved, but you also show what the path you took, right? So it's not just the final achievement. So final achievement in a learning journey might be just a transcript or a degree certificate. So if you take a course, the final achievement could be the grade, right? So or could be a report, right? So the final report of if you are doing a thesis, it could be just a final report. But then the process you take every step of the way, if you record them and keep them, then it becomes a journey, right? So that's the idea of an e-portfolio. So it is more than just the final outcome, but the steps that you take and you record them in various forms and then you keep, right? So how do we an e-portfolios? What basically they do, they organize your work and also something very important in a portfolio setup, which is very useful for education or learning, is that you also use it as so when you do it, when you prepare the portfolio for something that you had done, the steps you followed, you also reflect on that process. Let's take one example, simple example. You all are students, so an example from that area. Let's say you all have done a lab, right? You all have done a lab exercise, right? What you would do in a lab experiment, you had done the experiment. Most probably now lab experiments have become very, what do you call, um, uh, uh, systematic, or they have become more of like a following a process, right? So you have like maybe you are doing a lab, you are taking some measurements, there is a sheet to fill where you put the measurements and then you have like calculate the results. Maybe you would do some sort of a simple discussion and then you are done, right? So one even in that process of a lab you are doing, the part where you are discussing, the discussion part, I hope you are doing it well, right? So how you do it is you reflect on what has happened. Okay, so this is the measurements I took. This is why the measurements were like this. These are the results I find, and this could be the reason why the results are like this. The results are different at different time. Maybe the machines have some problem. The measurements are not right. There could be errors. All these things you reflect on it and you write them and discuss them in your discussion session, right? So that is like a lab experiment. So you the like a lab, if you just do the lab and fill a form and calculate and submit the amount, the way how you learn, and then as opposed to like right, one is you are doing a lab, filling some forms, filling some tables, calculating some numbers, done, submitted. Other one, you are going through that process, thinking about it and writing down more detail. Okay, so the lab I collected data like this. Maybe I could have done it like this. The results was like this, but maybe there's something wrong, or maybe it's correct. Why it is like this? Why is it not like that? So we analyze it further among just within ourselves, right? So the one who has gone through the process, reflect on it again, right? So that's the reflection part. So if you reflect on it and do it, they say there's a learning theory called reflective learning. So what it says is if you go through the process reflecting on what you have done or what you have learned, you learn much better. That's the best way to learn, they say, right? So, like I told you, it's not just about collecting the evidences and showing it to other people, but for even for us, for the one who is learning or who is collecting this information, they also learn better, understand things better by reflecting and writing them down and finding evidences and putting them together. So it's useful even for learning, not just for like collecting as evidences so that I can get a job, right? So that's the reflection part of it. And obviously, it will also be something that is good for achievement, so we can use it for achievement as well. And the next thing is because we are collecting these evidences over time and collecting them step by step, we also can see how we progress, right? Let's say somebody like, we'll take a different example, somebody like who is like an artist, right? So they collect evidences. So they collect how they drew, the things that they throw out. Let's say they make number of drawing, number of canvases, but they don't use all of them. Some of them are bad, some of them are good. Can they collect photos or evidences of the good things they did, the bad things they did, how they improve, how fast they do it now, how fast they can do it another time, over time how they grow? These are things that will give them confidence to know that, okay, I'm learning better now, I can do things faster now. So that sort of things, right? So it can also be useful in situations like this because we are recording the process. We are not just recording the outcome, we are recording the process, and we are recording the process where we fail, we are recording the process where we good done well. So we are recording all of it. It's like we are recording what has happened and we can look at it and see, okay, now I can do better. So I can build confidence thinking, okay, I can now do things better than I used to do earlier, right? One, the recording and the way how we record also will help us to learn better, but also it will help us to build confidence, right? So that's one more thing e-portfolios can do, right? So then also how we can, e-portfolios are generally of the nature where you can put multimedia, different modes of documents, images, videos, like this can be done even in social media now, right? So we can put all of this together. So that sort of integrated platform, what it is, right? And also this e-portfolio, if you are maintaining, in fact, you can maintain multiple e-portfolios actually for different purposes. We'll talk about that as we go. But for a specific purpose, if you are maintaining an e-portfolio, it can help you record the evolving thing, right? So it will not be the static one, right? It will keep changing. It's the same for your, say, even if you are preparing a CV, it's the same. But the difference between something like a CV and an e-portfolio is that CV will just summarize, or maybe it can also have things like the outcomes, right? So let's say I did a project, this is the finding, I published a paper, right? So that will be in a CV. Now, if you want to go into an e-portfolio, it will be, okay, I did a project, I started like this, I did this and this and this experiments. These are the things I learned from these experiments. And then I found some results. This is what I saw in the results, and the results were like positive, negative. Then I analyzed the results. These are the results, analytical answers I got, and then I wrote a paper. I got the paper submitted to somewhere. I got it rejected first time. I learned these things from that. I submitted it again. I got it accepted. I learned these things more. I am also proud about it. So things like that, you go into more detailed steps, which will help you to learn better, also to build your confidence better, and also importantly, someone who is looking at your e-portfolio will know more about you without without even talking to you, right? So generally this is what happens, right? Somebody want to hire you for a job, they would you will send a CV, maybe your resume, 2 pages. It will say, I did this project, I published this paper, I did this, I completed my degree, this is my grade. These are the committees or societies I was in. These are the committees and societies I led. All sort of things we will write them down in very short forms and submit. And then someone who is going to choose like call you for interview, they'll have thousands of CV. They'll just shortlist some based on that summary. Let's say you get shortlisted, then they'll call you for an interview where they are going to talk to you about and ask you to go through this process, right? So the process of how you did this, what you learned, what you missed, and by how many times you write a paper, where it's got submitted, how many projects you did, and each project, what are the outcome, who are the other people who are involved in the project, which part you did. All those things won't be there in the resume CV, but they will be asking those questions in an interview, right? So we have to combine a CV or a resume plus the interview to understand about it, right? So an e-portfolio, if you share, most of this will already be there, right? You would have already answered most of the questions that an interviewer would ask in an e-portfolio, right? So that way it's very different. So these two are not the same, right? So I hope I made the difference. That's what an e-portfolio is, right? So why an e-portfolio is useful? I think it's sort of obvious because I already have given some example as well. And also you can imagine, think about it better, right? E-form is better, obviously, because it can be easily shared and also can be copied, duplicated, right? So for example, if you are going to give a hard portfolio to 10 companies or 10 recruiters, you'll have to make 10 copies. So it's going to be difficult. And also, if you want to keep different versions of ePort, like your portfolio, for example, maybe certain places, let's say you are applying for a postgraduate qualification, like a degree, you might want to add the certain things in that portfolio. And then something else, you might want like a job, different type of job, you might want to highlight different things in the portfolio. Because portfolio is long, you can't put everything into a single portfolio and give it to somebody because it'll be too much for them to look at, right? So you have to customize them, depends on different situation. So if it's a physical one, it might be, you might be taking copies, printing and things like that. It might be difficult to manage, but electronic one, it's easy to manage, right? For example, if you want to make multiple copies, you can have some parts which are common fixed and some parts which are changing, it can be changed. In fact, platforms like the CN platform allows you to do that. Like easily you can adjust between, okay, this is a version that is useful for my if I'm applying for a PG, like a master's or a PhD. This is going to be useful for a particular industry I'm applying for. This is going to be useful for another industry I'm applying for. This is going to be useful for a particular job role I'm applying for. So it could be very different, and it can also all maintain in the same place. And and also the common things like your name, address, and some of these details, results, and certain common details can be kept as it is, and the other details can be managed easily, and we can have a master document which can be easily updated. So it can all be done in an electronic form very easily. So you can just update a master document, all your different versions will get updated accordingly. Right? So things like that are very easy if you have an electronic version. So that's the good part about electronic version, and it can be used from it, like it can be accessed from anywhere, copied from anywhere, and all these are easy with an e-version, right? So that's why an e-portfolio is useful. And you can't think of anything else other than at this time and age, right? So e-portfolio is the way to go, right? So uh, why it is used benefits for learners, like I told you, it's not just about the outcome. It's not just about, it's not even about giving my portfolio to an employer and or a potential employer, and they find you useful and hire or call you for an interview or hire you. But as a student, as a learner, it's useful. I already mentioned about reflective learning. I also mentioned actually about confidence building, right? So when you see, you go through this process and it's recorded, it's something like old the good old days. People used to write diaries to like reflect on what has happened to them, and then they go back and see, okay, these things have happened to me. Now I have become better. I can do things better, and so on. Right? It gives you that confidence that you are building yourself. You are coming up in your ladder, doing things better, faster, efficient, more brave, and different things. Right? So you can think of all those as reasons for having a portfolio. So one is for the reflective learning I explained earlier, building confidence. And also the next thing is what is known as the self-directed learning, right? So it's also possible for us to like keep ourselves up to date and learn things better, because we can keep track of how we are learning, what we are learning, what is giving us better experience, what sort of learning ways you like. For example, like there are different ways to learn, read or listen to a video, or go try some problems, different things, right? So even those things can be recorded, and it will be a good experience for us, and also an information, like a useful material for us to reflect on how we learn and what's useful for us. And also it promotes like independent learning, right? So you are learning on your own, which is really useful in this age because things are changing so fast and you had to keep on learning, right? So it usually the case, we always have to keep learning, but now things are changing faster, and it helps you do it. So those are things not just as a portfolio that you can share with your potential employer, but also as a learner, it will be useful for you, right? In fact, this is also useful for others, like for like educators and institutions. I just am including that here. I know that you all are learners and you are focusing on your side, but particularly in current situation, it's also useful for uh, others like teachers and universities and departments and faculties and whatnot, because nowadays it's becoming more and more difficult to judge whether a work is done by like a or an assignment or an exercise is done by the learner or the student, right? So ePortfolio or a portfolio-based learning help people evaluate that. For example, if there is something called assessment based on what do you call the process, right? So usually any assessment is usually done by looking at the outcome. Let's say you are asked to do obviously some simple like an exam is easy to figure out, right? An exam we are not like the you are not assessed when you are doing an exam. You are not assessed how you did the exam, like how you sat, how fast you wrote, what sort of process you went through. That's not looked at. What is looked at is your final exam paper, the result answer paper. People are marking you, right? Even if you are doing something like a project, nowadays the general assessment criteria is you will go and do a presentation at the end, or you will go and do a report. That's how normally it's assessed. But nowadays, such as and even if you get a homework, how it is assessed is by looking at what you are submitting as the last outcome, not the process. The outcome is what is assessed. But nowadays, with like all this generative AI and whatnot, things are changing. The education institutions, academics are looking at how assessment can be sort of authenticated, or academic integrity can be maintained. How meaning, how do we know a student did this work, right? So without they didn't use an AI tool to do this work. Even if they're using the AI tool, how do they combine and do the work? How they are contributing to the work? Such things are becoming more and more like important in situations like that. Now what uh, we the institutions and the lecturers, teachers are doing is they are going more towards something like even if it's called ePortfolio or not, uh, uh, assessing the process, not assessing the outcome, but assessing the process. Process means the steps that somebody followed. This is what we did on this day. This is what they did on this day, and so on. So there are a lot of online platforms now. They can trace or track the process and mark the process, not the final outcome. So ePortfolio is one like that. So it follows the same idea, right? So we are not just looking at the final thing, we are looking at the process. So it's the same thing that we can do as well, right? So that's one other item that you can think of in terms of doing the uh, I mean, using the ePortfolio system from an institution point of view, right? Not from your point of view, but you should also realize or understand that it's happening. Okay, so that's something that's you should also keep in mind. Right. So, and there are a lot of examples to show ePortfolio or portfolio-based systems are useful. And I mean, given that you all are here on a Saturday evening, I believe you already know there is some benefit, right? So there are benefit not just in terms of just the outcome or just like getting a job by showing your process, but also for learning. Like there are examples, but I'll not go into detail in the interest of time. But then there's a lot of examples in that line. This is important. I told you a little while ago, e-portfolio systems are they are different type. You can even you as a student can have multiple e-portfolios, right? And here are some that are mentioned. I think we already have discussed about two of them, but like one I mentioned, in fact, like one assessment I mentioned already, right? So one extreme, one end, it could be just a career portfolio. So it just presents your achievements that are useful for a potential employer. So when you say achievement, you don't only show just the result sheet and things like that, but you also show the process. Okay, this is how I achieved this. This is the project I did, and these are the details, and this is how I contributed. More detail and show some photos, show some other screenshots and whatnot, right? So that's a career portfolio. On the other hand, there is also like a learning portfolio where you will just be showcasing on the learning process, like the example I told you about the lab. A lab exercise, you will not just produce the lab sheet to complete it and submit it, but you'll also write more about it, what you learned, what are the mistakes you made. Even if you had done a project, what are the mistakes I did, what are the, like more details, right? So, and reflect on this is what I did, and this should have been better. Go into more detail, that sort of a. So assessment e-portfolio is one other. It is even now used a lot. Even in the current situation, it's used a lot. But then it will be used more, like I told you in the example of generative AI and so on. So assessment can become a e-portfolio submission, right? So it's just an assessment, and it could be for a particular exercise, right? So and the institution can ask you to submit an e-portfolio, and it can be assessed so that there is timestamp based detail step by step, right? So that will be useful, right? So how do it helps you do better? I think I already mentioned this. So you can collect all these things that you are doing, and you can also present them in a nicer way. You can reflect what you are doing, and you can also, by the way, something that I forgot to mention, and that you can do even in the CNE portfolio is to you can tag people and ask people to something like endorsement, right? So you can ask people to endorse or give feedback. The endorsement can be given by teachers or your colleagues, something similar to what you have in LinkedIn like platforms as well. And obviously you can keep on improving and do make things better, right? Um, Let me just uh, go into the platform now and take you through the step-by-step process on how you can set up one and what are the features we have in the CNE portfolio. I believe most of you are interested in doing that, right? So building your own portfolio system. Can I get like a feedback? I hope you are there. Um, on how many of you have an e-portfolio, like a CNE portfolio developed now, like you have an account now? Can you raise your hand? I'll give you a minute or two. Raise your hand if you have an e-portfolio account created. One, only one. So the question is to raise your hand if you have an ePortfolio platform account in an ePortfolio platform creator. Okay, only one. Right. There's second one. Oh, looks like only a few of you. So let's spend some time, create the portfolio. Thank you. Thank you for raising hands. I see two or three more, and that's all. I hope others, I think others have not. Okay, one more. Right. So let me. Uh, so what you all can do, you can do this with me so that it's easier, right? So you can start, or you can go to the website. So the portfolio system I'm going, there are many, not many, there are like few. The one I'm going to introduce you in this session is called the CNE portfolio. The website is, let me copy paste it to the chat. That's the website. You can go to thecn.com. When you go there, give me a sec. When you just go there, it will take you to a place like this. You can sign up, those who don't have an account. You can sign up by giving first name, last name, email address. But you also can sign up with Google. Right, so when you can sign up with Google and give your university email address and fill it out and sign up. And then you log in and you will end up in a place like this, not exactly like this. This is like a sort of filled ePortfolio. You will end up in a place where it's sort of empty. There's nothing much there. And you'll have to start filling things. I'll tell you how to do so. So tell me when you are, raise your hand when you are done creating an account. We can go forward. I'll give a couple of more minutes. Okay, so I hope you all have created an account and logged in. tell me when you are done. Raise your hand, those who have done, so that I get a feeling how many of you have done it. Hope it's straightforward just to create an account. More hands are raising. So this will only be useful if you get engaged and create your accounts now and start you doing it. If not, this is not going to be very useful an exercise. So those who are here online, please try go to the website, fill in some details and create your account. I'll move on when I have about 10 people raising hand. I know like 3 or 4 of you already had accounts. We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 more. Okay, I'm getting more. Okay, thank you very much. And I hope others also in line and creating your accounts. Okay, yeah, more people raising hands. Thank you. So immediately you can see there are, if you look at the platform, it has so usual things like a social media platform type of thing where you have some detail, but it looks more like a CV or a doc, like a something of that nature, right? So in fact, you can add different sections and fill in details. File, so you can see this is like a simple portfolio of mine that I developed some times back. And also there are many better portfolio systems you can go and find in the uh, in under the CA portfolio. But let us first try to understand few things in the portfolio system. One, like the CNE portfolio, it has this common banner type of place, like a profile place, where you have you can add a few things starting from the cover image, right? So I have put the faculty's photo there. You can edit and upload a photo, and it has certain resolution requirements. So if you match the resolution, you can upload the photo for the faculty cover photo like any other cover photo, cover image. You also can update your own image. That's the first two things. And then, and obviously the name and those things will be there. And the countries, those information, you can edit them. You can click here, edit what sort of, who you are and so on, you can edit them, right? The next thing you can add is you can add the institution you are part of here by clicking this plus button. So I have added a lot of things here. Like if you are let's say for example here IMECI student chapter, you are a member. If you are an IMECI student member, for instance, you can just click here, add the organization name, some link to the organization, some description about it, and from when up to when you are a member. You also can either upload a logo or you can just look for a logo by just saying Google logo. You can search for a logo. Like let's say for example, let me see, I have not tried this earlier. Uh, It's giving my, is it how it is pronounced? Right, so you can should look for a logo, search for it, and just find one. That's Engineering Council, something popping up. So logos and all, and then you can select one, right? So that also you can do. Or if you are part of, let's say, in a university. Uh, sorry, not a second. Let me try again. It's giving some other things anyway. It's a Google search anyway. So you can find by searching, you can find images. It's giving all sort of images, not so useful. But you can also just upload one, right? So you can just upload an image for the logo. So that's like that you can add the institution you are part of, affiliated with. Not just the logo, as you saw, the name of the institution, the website, some description, what you are doing there, from when to when. And if you are presently also a member, you can select plus. It's very present. It's very similar to how you would add things to a a LinkedIn profile or something similar. Right? So you can add and you can fill in slowly all the affiliations or the institution you are part of. You can add them here. Right. So that's one thing that you can add. And by the way, something that I forgot to tell you is when you create your portfolio, you get your own portfolio link. Say, for example, my one is thecn.com slash RR800. Right. So that's my portfolio. I can share it with anybody. Right. So I can just give it to somebody and they can go to it. I can share like this. Anyone can go and use seed, right? So that's possible. Um, so that link appears here. And one few more things you can see here in the top itself, and we are discussing about the top part. So top itself is you can also add your links for your website, link for your social media pages. You can see I have added all sort of things like Facebook page, ResearchGate page, my YouTube, this is my Zoom link, meeting link, YouTube channel, LinkedIn page, Twitter or the X page, Facebook, one is page and the one is, I don't know, like personal profile, maybe websites, my personal website, all these things I can just again click this and add additional items. I can select one and add Facebook, Twitter. You can see these things. I also can add more by clicking add a website. I can select what it is. If it's one of these things, it's fine. If it is let's say GitHub, Wikipedia, different things I can add, or I just can add a website without any specific item. Only good part about these things is if you add one of those, those logos appear automatically, right? So that you can fill. By filling it, you get like a personalized, like a banner with more professional look and the links that are professionally associated and so on. Right? So that's one thing that you can do immediately. Next, I wanted to highlight you, there are some parts here, like for example, right now, what you are seeing here when you log in and start, you are editing things, right? What you see here is your own view. You can also see your public view, right? So you here show public view. That will give you, this is how others will see your page. Like my page, others will see it like this. It's still loading, right? So that's how the public view will be, right? So, and certain items are not there, they are hidden and so on, right? So that's the public, like the public view. You can see the public view. And you can see who viewed my profile, similar to like you can see who has looked at my profile, right? So some history about who has seen my profile earlier, those details are here. And there's only a limited information. If you become a premium user, you get more, right? So that's one. And there's this thing called privacy setting, very important one. This is very useful. Let me explain. So this privacy setting is the one we are seeing now is a common setting for the whole ePortfolio. So this privacy setting here. And there are also privacy settings for each item you add later. Right? So now it's a common one. And then there is one for each item you add. The common one, if you see, my one is set as who can view your full ePortfolio, I have set public. But if you take CNE portfolio, it has 5 levels of visibility, right? So if you click that, in fact, like there's more now, more than 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 levels of visibility. I mean, obviously the last one is not visible. And if I say like this, it's not visible. It's only for me. I can log in and see it. Nobody else can see it. So that's not like really visibility. So that's out. And public is anyone who has just web internet can come and see it. Second one is CN users, which means it's only people who can log in can see it, log into CN, like you create an account. Others can create account to see. They had to, like if I said it like this, and if I share the link, you can see it only if you have an account. If not, you can't, right? There are more. In fact, like we had a CN institution account. It is no longer active now. We are working on bringing it back. So when it is active, then if you set this, only people who are within the institution, within Peradeniya, for example, can see each other. Others can't see. Then you also can have a class, like CN has this idea of classes. Class means our regular learning management system type classes. Only those people can see each other. Or the instructors, the teachers, instructors mean teachers. Teachers only can see. Password protected, if you put, it's very much like on only me. Password protected means it will have a password, and if you can share the password, and only those people with the password can see you. So there are like different levels. So right now my one is set as public. So anybody who is in the internet can see this. This is for overall EN portfolio, right? So the CN portfolio, I mean, it's like the just everything together. But I can set specific what do you call visibility for each parts here, right? You can see this part. This part is called overview. I'll tell you how to set one up, and that you can see it's again set to public. I can set this again to the way I want. Let's say it's only for me. If I set it only for me, then the public view will not have this, right? So it will be gone from the public view. Only it's for me. Right? So I like that I can decide the parts, whether they are public, whether they each part, you can see each one of them. I can set whether they are public, whether they are for different people, and so on. So I can set the visibility of different parts as I want. That's one benefit of an e-portfolio, right? And particularly something like CN, where I can set different parts. Some parts I can just keep it hidden. Some part I can keep it like under a password. So if I want someone to see, I can share the password. They can see, others can't see. Public will have only certain part of it, not everything, right? So it's possible to set it up like that, right? So that's one feature, which is like at a highest level for the whole portfolio I can set, and also I can set it for each section, right? So you can see like I can add sections. When you open a new one, there'll be a few things that are inside box here. Section you may want to add. My one is empty because I already have added all of them. You can click one by one and add them. And you also can make any section you want, like they are called custom sections. So you can just click it, give a name to a section, item name, like section name, item name you can give, and you can just save it and make a new section, right? So you can keep adding more sections as you want. Let me go back to the top. Right, so like that you can keep adding new sections. So I suggest that you add at least 1 or 2 sections. Shall we ask like this? So you have now started, fill in some basic information fill in some information here for each one of you. And can you share your CN portfolio URL in the chat? I'll give you about 5 minutes. You can already share because you already have an account. And then you can fill in these details. At least put the university logo and photo and an image and maybe some one or two links here and share. I mean, you can already share and link, update it, right? So like that's the good part about it. You can update it anytime. You can share it in parallel. So I'll give you about 5 minutes for you to try that. When you have done some basic ones, share your portfolio with me so that you can have a look. Okay, I got a couple of them. Thank you for sharing, Telina. You can also add some social media or some website sort of links. I forgot to tell you about Anna Seeds. I'll tell you about it. You can see already I have an option to give some recommendation. I hope others who are sharing your e-portfolio directly to me won't mind if I open them up. So you haven't put your photo yet. And this is the default. And also there are features like you can follow people, you can see who are following you and so on, right? Those are also there. Like for example, if I do this, now I'm following. Okay, here is a more detailed one. About details are also there. And some skills are also there. That's good. I'll tell you more about skills and how they can be connected nicely in a little while. Good work. So all of you can just should know that your URL is just here, right? So it's so easy, the cn.com and 5 or 6 digit code number name. So more coming. So good that you all have sort of started. For whatever reason, I'm logged out. Oh, okay, I'm still there. So let me, it looks like most of you have sort of started, and I see some of you have already started sharing. That's good. And you can see there are few more links here in the first page, its first part itself, and get to know what those links are. Obviously, this link you can see is as a print link, so you can make a printout or a PDF of the ePortfolio. So again, print out, it's possible to print. In fact, like this feature is only available for premium users. You can just print, or in fact, like if you have a premium account, then you can print specific parts. Like you can make a portfolio, like a long one with all the details, and you can tick certain parts and print only those. That's possible. And you can generate a QR code and share it in places, so print and keep, or give it to people, send it across, put it in a slide deck. All those you can do. So the QR code will directly take whoever scanning the QR code to the URL of your portfolio. There are other things you can see. One other thing is you can like archive save it, some parts, and you can visitor tracking. I already who looked at it, who are coming, and so on. Sending the link, right? So you can send the link in different ways, right? Email, social media, link, uh, and those options are also there. Something that I wanted to actually show you more importantly, and also by the way, there's also find jobs option where you can go to one of these platforms through this and search for jobs. But something that I wanted to spend a little more time is this versions thing. Uh, right. So you can see I have made a number of versions of the portfolio here. So this will be useful only when you have a lot of things in your portfolio, right? When you have a lot of things in your portfolio, what you can do is you can create a specific version. Let's say a version for, like I told you, a version for the university, a version for a particular company, and so on, right? So I'll just edit and show, right? So I have all the section you can see in my portfolio, and I can select which one of these I want to include in a particular version, right? So I can just remove certain things and keep certain other parts only for that version, right? And then I can copy that particular version. See, this version is the usual, my portfolio is finishes up to here, the cn.com RR800, but this version has a V and a name, University One, right? So V for version and a number or a name. So the name is the name of the version I'm giving here, right? So like this, I can make, or just the name version can be 1, 2, 3, 4, it doesn't matter. So then I can just keep a single like a portfolio with all the details and have version, and the version can be sent to a particular like somebody, right? So an institution, or depends on whom you wanted to communicate with, you can send versions. That's very useful feature. So the master will still remain the same, but different versions will have only certain parts of your portfolio shared with people. Like if you want to send it to like a professor, if you want to send it to like a company, if you want to send it to like an internship, different type of internships, you can choose the right version and send. Right, so it's possible for us to decide on the version. That's very useful feature, and use it, right? So that's something that you all can make use of. The next, let me go into like I told you, when you are making these sections, you can keep them as public or you can keep them as private. You can change those options as well for each one of them. For example, education, you can decide whether you want to keep it public, you want to keep it private. And I don't think I had to spend time explaining to you how to add an educational qualification. Right? You just have to click this and you'll be filling the details. It's very similar to how you do other parts. Same for awards, same for these other parts like courses and so on. So you can add them. But I want to spend a little time telling you a bit about the skills, right? So I saw some of you already had skills listed. So it's possible for us to just list a skill. Just go here, we can add a skill, right? Um, and save it, right? So I can add skills, adding skills. That's possible. But it's not very useful to just add skill here and leave it as it is. Because when you just add skill, it's like I'm claiming I have a skill, but I don't have any evidence to show that I have that skill, right? So ePortfolio is about showing evidences, not just having, not just claiming that I have this and I have that. Showing evidences is what you we had to do. So in fact, like I have in this exam, portfolio, I have some of the skills which are with evidences, and then there are some skills without also. Like for example, I have one called research computing, nothing, no evidence, no evidence. Teaching, I have, like you can see, three evidences, they are linked. So when I want to add skills with evidences, I don't have to do anything here under the skills. Can just leave it empty, and I can put skills in another place, right? So particularly in a place called this showcases. So when I'm adding, I'll explain a bit more about showcases in a little while. So when I was going to add showcases, it's possible for me to also say, okay, this showcase help me to showcase basically is evidences, right? So I can develop a showcase to show that I had done this work. Here are the evidences. Like I'll just show you one example, right? So that's a showcase where I have added. So when you want to add showcase, like showcase is like evidence with, it's a showcase, right? So it's like a show that you can have things put together and display them and so on, right? So here is one, like this is not like the best example, but like an example, right? So we can put a title, we can put a showcase, we can put a lot of details, we can descriptions, you can add videos, you can add all these different things. You can even add collaborators, other people. And the good next thing is you can also add the skills, right? So how a showcase addition works is you start from the showcase box, the tab, and here you can add the showcase. You can put a photo, a title, some summary. When you save it, it will take you to, when you fill all this and save it, it will take you to an empty box, a box like this, where you can put a title, and this is like a box with some formatting, right? So you can put all these different fonts and paragraphs, images, yeah, formula, videos, text, sound, all that you can include, and different formatting. And also there are specific layouts you can follow as well. And then you can just fill it in. You can also attach files, images, video, with uh, things from Google Drive or Dropbox. And also you can add collaborators, other people who are in the platform, and also add the demonstrated skills. So teaching, I have included as a demonstrated skill for this particular work, and I save it. So when I save it, then what happens is this showcase get added, which is like the link here, the image and the title. And you also can see that this showcase is set up as a public one. So each item you can set it as public, private, different type of levels I discussed earlier. Then because the showcase I added teaching as a skill, and the teaching skill gets automatically added to my skills, right? And one of the things in the, like there are three places I have added teaching, so that is why it's showing three, right? Uh, so that actually goes to the common teaching skill list, right? So the three places I have added teaching listed, mentioned here, right? So I just click teaching. This, and the third one is coming from the badges. Right? So three places. So even the badge, when I'm adding a badge, I can add a skill to it. So it comes from So that's a specific portfolio for me, only with the teaching experience related or the teaching skill related. Like that. So that's the best way to add skills. So not to just go to the skills box and fill in the skills, not so useful. It just we are claiming. But the best way is to add other things, like for example, add a course, add a batch, and there you can say, this is the skill I developed, right? So you can just upload from an image and put that as the badges, or you can add courses, right? So courses can actually come from the from anywhere, and also there are courses that are in the platform that you can use as well, but that we are not going into the details. And also you can add experiences and other parts, right? So if you have been like a chair or a president of a committee and various other things, you can add them here as well. I have only a minimum amount, but you can add all that you are doing, right? And you can also ask others to endorse you. You can see people are endorsing others for some certain items. So those endorsements can also, you can request others to endorse. And also you can see the endorsements in the public profile as well. So let me ask you all to try, like think of one uh, small project that you did. Let's say you are a particular university project, or like a project that you did, public project, some project that you did, and try to include that here as a showcase. You can update it later, but immediately you can put a cover photo, drag and drop or select, and put a title for the showcase, write a summary, very short summary, 2 3 sentences, and save it, right? Then you can see you end up in a box like this, where you can just type in here and attach things, or you can also switch to the rich text editor where it's more detailed, so where you can edit and update things, and you can add a skill for it, uh, right? So you can just hash and a skill, right? So you can add a skill like that and save, fill in the details. When you are finished, this skill will appear under skills, and also the showcase will appear under showcase with the like a cover like here, and then some details below that. So I suggest you try one of them out. So I didn't go into each section and what you can add, but obviously I hope that you can do, like depends on what you have, you can keep adding them. Yeah, you can see you also can request recommendations by, so the email request will go when you so in fact, like this one is not apparently available, the requesting part is not available for free accounts, available only for premium account. But we can always ask someone to recommend, and then you saw that they can go and recommend to you on your profile. So you can start a new custom section as well, like I told you earlier. So I'll give you some time to make one one showcase. So when you finish at least one showcase, I request you to share your profile so that I can have a look, at least a few of you. I'll give some time. When you fill in some details, please share so that you can have a look. I'm waiting for some, maybe I can just check some existing portfolio to see whether any showcases are coming up. Currently not there. Okay, something under research is added. Good, you are getting them improved. I hope you are spending more time on improving it. And something more that you can also look at is when you are adding any one of these items, you also can see there's some other item, right? Like for example, if you look at this, right? Uh, this section also has something called the add overall reflection for this section. Personal reflection. So for example, budgets, you can write about it. Okay, so this is my target. These are the budgets I already have received. These are the budgets I'm working on. This will be the things that will be finishing. And why am I doing it? Why it is useful for me? So these are things that I can add in the reflection. So reflecting on my learning journey, how I'm collecting budgets and why it is beneficial for me, how it can be useful in my career, things like that, right? So the same for each one of these sections, like courses, again, you can see I can write reflections. So each one of these, I can also write what is known as reflections, which will help me to showcase myself better. And also when things like the documents, which are hidden some document, that also you can do reflection. So you also can add reflection for the showcases, right? So these are the projects that I've been doing, and the other evidences, and more about what did I learn overall, things like that I can add into the reflections. So as I told you, to the what do I like to the uh, showcases, it's also possible to add other things like collaborators and skills. And any one of these items you add here, you can put them into a version, right? So by default, it's a common version, everything is there, but then I can select and make version. I hope you all are working on it and you can add more. And these are the simple features that you have in an ePortfolio. So maybe I can just go ahead with the rest of it and give you some final thoughts and finish. And I hope you will work on this with adding more details. As you can see, it's a very simple platform, very easy to follow, right? So what we have done is we have looked at how step by step we can do, how the content selection can happen. Also, it's possible to add collaborators, like I told you, right? Mm. And if you need any support, we can support, like we have people who can help you. So let me know if there are any challenges, you can contact me and I'll, in terms of, I don't think it's difficult, right? It's just straightforward, right? So just make sure that you are building your CN portfolio and adding these details. So it's not just, you can use it for showcasing your work, and therefore you can achieve a good uh, outcome like a career or like a opportunity, job opportunity, but also you can use it for other parts like connecting, um, developing your education, learning better, and also, uh, I mean, learning by reflecting on how what you learn and what you have learned and what you have not. Also, institutions and others also can use it, like we discussed already. Right, so I will finish with some key takeaways. Right, so How you can do this is like I already have explained in detail. You can start by how do you now fill in these details, right? That you might have a question, right? So how do you make my showcases? So from like whenever you are doing a project, the project could be an academic project could be a social project, project could be you part of a society, your project could be anything, right? So anything that you do. In fact, like a well-rounded student or even a professional will have engagement in various aspects. So it doesn't have to be only like a job or an academic project. It would be anything. So any one of these situations, start collecting the related information, right? So mainly the most important item is to collect the evidences of the process, step by step you are doing something, right? So the collect the evidences, if it could be anything. So anything that you do could also be considered for your learning it, right? And next thing is reflect on it. So like I told you, when if you are doing a lab, if you're going to make it a project and wanted to present it in your portfolio, you don't have you don't just add these are the results I got, this is the like measurements I took, but you also have to go into more detail. What sort of things I learned, what did I miss, and how do I collaborate with others, what are the things I can do better next time, and so on. So that's the reflection part of it. You also can get feedback from others, your colleagues, the collaborators, and also your teachers, the supervisors, and so on, right? And generally, the e-portfolio can also be improved over time, like I was discussing earlier. By doing all this, you achieve multiple things, right? So you can learn how to learn better. You can also learn like individual self-learning, and also you can build confidence so that you can show that okay, I have all this, so it's easy for me to get a job and so on. And also it can be used as a like a competency showcase. That is the last item, which is it can be used to show that okay, I'm capable of doing all this, right? So those are the different angle, and CN or ePortfolio is a platform that supports all this in a very simple, straightforward, nice way. So you should be able to use it in an easier way, right? So that's basically it. So actually, ePortfolio is more than just your professional showcase, but it also transforms passive learners into an active participants. Right. So we are normally we are anyway learning. So we are on education, even wherever it is in life, we learn. But when you are learning, we can make it more active than passive by reflecting and maintaining the process. Maintaining the process is going to be very useful in the future, like I told you, because there are a lot of doubts about whether we are the one who are producing the outputs anymore, right? So therefore, maintaining records will maintaining the evidences will help us uh, showcase that it is us who contributed more in this process or in producing a particular outcome. That will be useful, right? So that's very useful and important in the present context, particularly with all these AI tools and whatnot, right? So that's all basically I have for today, and I'm happy to take any questions if you have. If not, we can. I hope you will work on your own portfolio and make improvements. I wish you all the best for that. We'll close and questions or comments, anything. Silent. Anyone want to ask anything? If not, I hope Sandhini is there.
As we come to the end of today's session, I would like to take a moment on behalf of the IMEG student chapter, University of Peradeniya, to sincerely thank Professor Roshanji Ragal for being with us today. We would know how busy your schedule is, sir, and we truly appreciate your taking time to share your knowledge and experience with us. Your insight on portfolio development were extremely valuable, and I'm sure all of us have a better idea that will help us in our professional journey. I would also like to thank all the participants for joining us today's this event. As many of you know, uh, we are currently preparing our students for Indian's upcoming career fair. Uh, we see today's workshop as an important step in that journey. Once again, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Nipuna. There's one question. The question is about whether we can include the volunteering experience in showcases. Yes, definitely. You should also include your volunteering experience in showcases. Uh, because like even for jobs, people are looking not just for students who have done the academics, but also they are contributed in other places. Voluntary experience is something that is very important because even when you want to be an all-rounded person in companies work, they expect such things. So you should include volunteering experiences as showcases. Yes, right. So if that's all, thank you everyone, and thank you Nipun for the closing notes. We'll wind up. Okay, thank you.